All right, let's talk about brokenness, wholeness, and the two being stitched together in a beautiful way that allows us to thrive and be gritty and work with the day and work with the challenges, the symptoms. After all, in the problem side of things and the broken side of things, our symptoms are purpose driven. You've heard me talk about this before. What's the purpose? They bust you down so that you can come out of your head and into your heart. They get you to walk through the fear door that goes into the cave where you have to befriend a dragon or slay a witch or befriend a witch, actually. It's always befriend, befriend, befriend. But we think because we're not able to do that, we don't have our courageous self mobilized, that we can't tackle all of that. So we get scared, and then we get depressed, and then we get anxious, and then we have to deal with relationship stuff because we spill that all over into our other relationships. So our brokenness is very deliberate in terms of the overall picture, but it's not fun. It's brutal. We feel incredibly vulnerable. We're not enough. We don't feel like enough. We have shame. We have guilt. We have suicide ideation. We have anxiety and panic attacks. Put COVID around this brokenness, and people are experiencing exorbitant amounts of stress and anxiety. And that is not to be, that's to be honored and respected and befriended. In the end, we need to find a way to work into that, yeah? The way to do that sometimes is to come over here and to mobilize our wholeness, because sometimes this brokenness creates a problem saturation for us. There's so many things that add up, and we're just completely, our past, our present relationship, our career sucks. You know, our partners are really getting stuck, you and your partner getting stuck into mean-spirited roadside houses. There's sadness, there's loneliness for self, loneliness for other, loneliness for a belonging. COVID hasn't helped any of this, as we said. Over here, we sometimes need to come back to ourselves. We need to mobilize compassionate self-care. We need to bring the antidote to loneliness, which is just that arc of return, coming back into who we are through meditation, compassionate self-care. There's a couple of clients last week that had just moved so far away from themselves. They were, their body was just having panic attacks. I'm scared. But it looked like because of outside phenomenon, outside partner, outside career, outside things. But it really was about them being feeling that despair of feeling de-spirited, disconnected from who they really are. So sometimes we have to come back into our wholeness, our wakefulness. We do that through meditation. We do that through good self-care. We do that through putting good people around us and having creative outlets. We do that by journaling, by recording dreams, and then we can use the dreams per se. Let's say a dream about a bear chasing us to bring us into this broken part of us, because the bear is saying on channel 1, you got to run like hell. On channel 2, the bear is saying, you got this bear energy inside of you to rise above this brokenness. And when you put this bear with this and challenge these fears, these anxieties, these depressions, we find a way to end up in this kind of magical place where both, it's not just magical thinking, it's very grounded, it's very much about being who you are, even more ways. It's about working with all of what any day brings us, and so we can step into the clarity, the community that we need to thrive, and really finding that courageous self mobilized every day to tackle whatever comes to us that's broken from the inside or from the outside, challenges from the inside, depression, anxiety, scary nightmares, outside stuff, career stuff, stuff with our body, or we get a cancer diagnosis, we get a depression diagnosis, we get a career diagnosis, we get a relationship departure, something. And then we need to then find a way to dance or find a way to mobilize this. This is like a 3 out of 10 sometimes. Sometimes it's more like a 7 or 8 out of 10. But we have to get to a 4 to mobilize our wholeness, to get to a 4 or a 9 in order for us to tackle this stuff. Does this make sense? So our brokenness, our wholeness actually work beautifully together. And there is this, if we do this well, this back and forth, this dance that starts to happen where we start to find a natural, balanced, whole, loving rhythm with, yes, our vulnerabilities. Yes, the fact that we are divinely human, divine human. We are perfectly imperfect. We are human being. So when we can bring our beingness, our presences, our wakefulness to the task at hand, then it becomes very doable. Our challenge is then to work with all of it. And yes, if we get lemons, let's make lemonade. Yes, when life dishes out a whole bunch of stuff, let's mobilize that courageous self. Come on, puppy cakes. We got to go to work here. We got to do some inner work, and we got to do some inner work, and then we got to do some outer work, and then we got to do some outer work, and then we got to do inner and outer. And yes, we step into our life and step into the life we're supposed to be living. Does this make sense? Yes, so we need the courageous self. How do we do this? We need to mobilize the courageous self. Come on, puppy cakes. I call this body, mind, soul system, puppy cakes. We mobilize the courageous self. We get really clear what's vital for us, what's really important for us. Coming back to ourselves so we can fill our cup up so that we can then be there for others, yeah? Because we want to be of service to humanity. We don't want to just sit and be some great egotistical, narcissistic kind of person. Oh, I got it going on here. That's not a very good impersonation of a narcissist. But anyway, we need to step into it to serve humanity, to help, to contribute. And then by doing this work, we start to understand what our purpose is, what our deep, deep purposes are. And then we come into realizing also that we really matter, that this contribution is significant, that's the drop in the ocean that makes the ocean an even more beautiful place, right? So courageous self, getting really clear about what's vital for us, and then surrounding ourselves with a local, global village, or what I call a community. Think 3 C's: clarity, courageous self, community. We need people around us to hold us healthy and strong. So we have to build village to get even more stronger. We have to do our work so we can build village. We have to get into our wholeness so we can build village. All of it is about village making, yeah? So here's to dancing into the summer months. Here's to dancing into who you are. Here's to fully expressing and becoming that beautiful person from our humanity, human being, becoming. So human is very much about doing, and then being is about being. So doing, being, and becoming. Doing, being, and becoming. Doing, being, and becoming. Becoming what? Becoming you, becoming fully expressed, becoming this vital self. The scars and the emotions and emotional challenges and the stuff that is riddled all over my body, is my story of working with this, yeah? And then coming out, from suicide ideation to losing child, to losing a village, to losing a country, to going bankrupt, to dealing with divorce, to being annihilated and beaten up many times. All of this was just the fodder, was the lead to work with the gold, to then bring it out into the village. And of course, if you need a hand with any of this, happy to help, happy to serve. Bye for now.